Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is 195th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. As you can see, this battle is not fought on the usual flat map. This battle is fought on the Prippet marshes map. So it's a little bit unusual, as you know, we mostly play on the ordinary flat maps. Team I'm today consists of myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Carthage faction. As some of you know, I sometimes bring very old armies onto the modern RTW battlefield just to see how well they would do, and this is one of those very old armies. As you can see, I've actually got Sacred Band Pikemen. I think this is an army I usually bring to face Greek cities, but as I say, it is a very old army there. And as you can see, I've actually got cavalry units in this army here, fast-moving general armoured bodyguard units there. I think from what I could see, I've got 3 of those units. So as you know, it's very rare for me to bring any cavalry in my pike armors normally. So it just goes to show how old this army is. As you can see, I've got a couple of slinger units there, but these are the cheaper slinger units, not the more expensive ones. And as I say, you can see I've got 3 fast-moving cavalry, 2 of the cheaper slinger units, and the rest are Sacred Band. Be interesting to see how that old army does. And then we have Brotherhood member Conan, as you know, the co-founder of the Brotherhood. I think the Brotherhood was founded back in January 2005. Conan's bought the Julio faction. And then we move over to Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought the Britannia faction here. As you can see, he's made a Druids unit his general. Now, Druids are very important to a Barbarian faction because the Barbarian faction's morale is very low. The Druids chant and actually give morale to nearby units. So they're always a good unit to bring, the Druids. As I say, Uther has made it his general unit there. The rest of his units are all hiding in the woods. And then our last teammate is Brotherhood member Lion Dwarf, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. And once again, all his army is hiding in the woods as well. So as I say, this is an unusual map for us to fight our battles on. As I say, it's the Prippet marshes map. And I hope it adds a little bit of interest to the battle, seeing how they're fighting in the woods. Should be a good one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Cal, who has bought the Rome Bruto faction. And then we have OTD Pen Copsman, who has bought the Germania faction. And you can see here, as you know, the Germania faction is very susceptible to archer damage. All its units are very susceptible to archer damage, so it's always a good idea to bring archers. As you can see here, he's bought the Chosen Archers. These guys have got long range and do a lot of damage and have got pretty good specifications. Now see, his main ordinary infantry are the Chosen Axemen. Now, these guys are effective against armour, as we've talked about in other battle videos. Those axes they carry are effective against armour, and these guys, used properly, can cut swathes through Roman ranks, as long as they can avoid the piler damage. So that's all Chosen Axemen there. And then we move on to the infamous Berserkers. As we said in other battle videos, these guys are based on real historical characters. The real Berserkers used to be drunk or take a cocktail of drugs, or, as I said before, have had mental health issues, and when they went into battle they literally went berserk. Really tough troops. In this game they've got effective against armor maces, they've got 2 hit points, really good morale, and really good specifications all round. Make no mistake, these troops are battle changing troops, and veterans watching this, RTW veterans watching this, have seen these guys turn battles loads and loads of times. So used correctly, these are battle changing, battle winning troops. Then we move on to the Germanian cavalry. You see here he's got the Gothic cavalry. If you look at the specifications of this Gothic cavalry, you can see they're excellent cavalry. I think they're very underestimated cavalry, and used properly in conjunction with the rest of the Germania army, they can deliver the final charge that causes armies to break. So there's a good Germania army there. It should be a real challenge for us there. And then we move on to their next teammate, who is Brotherhood member Mystique, who has bought the Macedon faction there. As you can see, most of Mystique's army, once again, is hidden in the woods. And then we move on to Brotherhood member Killer B. He's called himself Hawaiian Snow, but it is actually Brotherhood member Killer B, and he has bought the Greek cities faction there. If you notice amongst his Spartans there, he's got a heck of a lot of archers. He's got mostly Cretan archers. They do got a lot of damage. They've got long distance, and they're very capable archers there. As I say, I think he's got quite a few of them. So looking at the enemy army here, we've got a lot of experience, a lot of great generals, lots of great armies. This should be a really good one for you to watch. At this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Killer B is running his Greek cities army forward there. What he would really like to do is to get engaged with one of our Roman allies with his Greek city units before my Carthage army can get over to try and combat his Spartans there. So that's why he's running forward so fast. He'd like to catch our Rome Julii ally there if he could. If you can see, our Rome Julii ally was walking, and I think he saw the Greek cities coming towards him, and I think his troops are starting to run now to try and avoid facing the Greek cities head on, which is what the Greek city general wants. As you can see here, the rest of us are now coming into the woods here, so it's obviously going to be a woods battle here. Not maybe a particularly good tactical move, because Germania gets a woods bonus, but then so does our allies Britannia army. It also gets a woods bonus as well. All barbarian factions get woods bonus here. So I suppose with Britannia on our side and Germania on the enemy's side, it kind of equals it out a little bit. As you can see here, it's over on our left flank here. As I say, I'm running my Carthage army right over to the other flank there to try and counter the Greek cities army over there. Right, can you see the Germania cavalry moving in onto Conan's archers there? You can see Conan's archers are a little bit advanced of his infantry there, so the Germania general, very aggressive move there, running his cavalry forward to try and take out as many of those archers as he can. But Conan spots that and then moves his own infantry forward there to counter that Germania cavalry attack. As I say, Germania, the barbarian faction, gets a woods bonus, so their archers also obviously get that bonus as well. If you notice, I'm moving my Carthage army more to the rear than over to the flank at the moment. Right, let's just pause the game for us to take stock of what's actually going on. As I say, Conan's got his archers out the front there. I'm probably targeting that Germania cavalry at the moment, but in time as those Germania chosen archers move over, my guess is that his archers will be combating them. As I say, the Germania archers will be getting a woods bonus, so that always gives them a slight advantage there when indeed we do fight in the woods. There's a general overview of what's actually happening here. You can see Mystique's Macedon army there is quite spread out. There, if you notice that she's opened some of her Macedon 120-man units into a wide formation there. Obviously that takes up quite a lot of ground. And if you notice, they've got a lot of archers there. A lot of those Cretan archers we talked about earlier, long range, can do a lot of damage. And as you see, the enemy Greek cities army is still moving forward towards our ally there. If you notice that fast-moving general armoured cavalry that I've bought, I've put out into the woods there. Hopefully they're going to hide, and I'm hoping the enemy will forget them, because what I would like to do with them when the battle actually starts is to get that cavalry up onto those Cretan archers and attack them. So I'm just hoping that they forgot that I'm going to be there when I start hiding, and then I'll move on to those archers in the course of the battle. Okay, let's see what happens next. If you notice here, Conan's moving his Julii army back as the enemy Germania army moves forward. Also, I think the enemy Roman Brutii army is on this flank too, and they'll be moving towards Conan's army as well. As you can see, Conan's got his archers there now, and if you notice, there's one unit of Germania cavalry moving in to try and take out some of Conan's archers there. Once again, if you notice, Conan's moving his infantry forward again to counter those cavalry hits. Meanwhile, over on our far right flank there, you can see that Mystique with her Macedon pike units and Killer B with his Spartan units have kind of combined their pike units there as they move forward. Can you see how Mystique has spread her cavalry units out? She knows that I've got cavalry hidden in the woods somewhere, but may have forgotten exactly where they are. So she spread her cavalry out, so as she move forward, they'll cover more ground and be able to see where I'm hiding. Right, as you can see here, I've moved my army over the face of Greek city's army there. If you don't notice at this time, the Germania cavalry have just charged into a line of Conan's infantry. My guess is that his infantry, those infantry units were hidden in the woods. The Germania general spotted some archer units and just charged his cavalry forward and then got caught by the hidden Roman infantry there. Because I don't think the Germania general would have charged his cavalry into standing infantry if he'd have known they'd been there. Here's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. As I say, the enemy Macedon pike units and the Greek cities army there are moving forward. They seem to have kind of combined their armies there as they're moving forward, made them very strong force there over on our right flank. And here's something I wanted to show you here. When you are facing enemy archers shooting at you, the last thing you want to do is to withdraw under archer fire, as it causes you a lot of casualties. So I'll show new players watching this, I'll show you a little bit of how bad that can be in a minute. I think that obviously the weakest part of any unit on RTW is the rear of that particular unit, the flank and the rear, but especially the rear. So if you retreat under archer fire, then you're showing the weakest part of your units to your enemy as the arrows are hitting you. And as I say, new players watching this, I'll show you exactly what I mean in a minute with my Carthage army and what happened to me. But as you can see here on our left flank here, Cal, enemy team member Cal, is moving his Brutii army forward. If you notice, Conan's moving his army back, kind of drawing Cal forward further and further towards our armies there. Nice little tactical move there by Conan. Keep moving back, trying to draw Cal forward towards our armies there, the rest of our armies there. Right, just pause again for a second here. Let's say now I'm having to pull my my infantry back here to line up with my allies. So, obviously as I turn, I show the rear of my units to the enemy there. Now, can you see all the enemy archers there reloading? Some of them are moving, some of them are shooting arrows into the rear of my units as they're moving back. And so really, the last thing I really want to do is to move my army back under archer fire. Can you see how many troops I've lost already without even getting into contact here by my units being shot in the rear by the enemy archers there? And if I have to pull back again, and if I have to pull back again because of maybe flanking enemy units, then each time I move back I suffer really a large amount of casualties due to the enemy archer fire. And as I say, those Cretan archers have got big range, they do a lot of damage, and as I move back I'm going to be suffering loads and loads of casualties there. But obviously in this battle, where it's a very fluid battle where lots of our armies are moving, lots of flanking actions going on, it looks like I'm going to have to move my army quite a bit, and that's just what the Cretan archer generals want, is for me to move mine back, because don't forget, both the Macedon and Greek cities have got Cretan archers which will be targeting my my pikemen, because they know that my pike army has been specially made to kind of counter their pikes. So what they want to do is weaken my Carthage army as much as they can before we actually get into combat. And as I say, I think I'm still going to have to move back if I get flanked, and you'll see how many casualties I suffer from those Cretan archers. Right, you just see Lion Dwarf's army that was hiding in the woods all of a sudden come into view, and that's because he moved his army. The moment you move your army, any of your units, they come into view after they've been hiding. So that's what Lion Dwarf has done. He's just moved his army over towards our left flank there. Now, by moving his army over to our left flank, I'm probably going to have to move my army. Right, over on our left flank here, you can see that Brotherhood member Cal, who's on the enemy team for this battle, is moving forward towards our allies' army there. But if you notice that Uther's launched an attack with his Britannia army there, He's bringing his chariots in. Remember, I think the British chariots, pound for pound, are probably the best chariots in the game. As you can see there, I'm attacking Cal's cavalry there. There's a close-up of the action. You can see the size on the wheels of those British chariots, doing a lot of damage to Cal's cavalry there. So there's a close-up of them attacking, and you can see the rest of Uther's army coming in there. Now if you look at the infantry, can you see frightened by chariots? Frightened by chariots. Right, so they're frightened. So what's actually happening is their morale has now lowered, which is just what the chariots do. So with their morale lowered, obviously they're more susceptible to routing if the fighting gets quite intense there. So as I say, you can see that Cal's Brutii army is there, and he looks like he's a prime target for both Conan's Julii army, Lyondorf's Julii army, and of course Uther's Britannia army there. Can you see them all moving in onto Cal's Brutii army there, over on our left flank? Meanwhile, over on our right flank, because my allies are all moving over to the left, I'm going to have to move my Carthage army back, once again under heavy archer fire. Okay, can you see the Greek cities trying to flank me here? Because knowing that my allies have moved over to the left, the Greek cities trying to flank me, so I've got to move my army back or I'll be outflanked. As I say, under heavy archer fire. Right, meanwhile over on our left flank here, you can see that all my allies, Conan, Lyondorf and Uther, are all attacking Cal's green Brutii army here. Okay, Cal came forward quite a bit there, and he's kind of exposed his army a little bit there to being hit by 3 of our armies there. You can see Germania's cavalry and archers are over there as well. Meanwhile, back over to our right flank here. As I say, talking about casualties by archer fire, this is something I like to show, especially new players here. If you look, can you see all those Cretan archers up there firing down on me? Remember, Cretan archers have got really good specifications. Now, my original front line was here. Can you see some of my Carthage dead? So I've moved from there all the way back to where I am now. And if you look on the ground as we move back, can you see all my dead troops? Can you see they're all leaning towards where we've run to, where they've been shot in the back as they've been running? And this is all through retreating under heavy archer fire here. As I say, new players watching this, I wanted to show you this because this is the type of casualties you can suffer if you withdraw under heavy archer fire. So you only do that, you only withdraw under archer fire if you really have to. And as you've seen there, I'm being outflanked by the Greek cities there because all my allies have moved to the left. So I've got to move my infantry back to stop myself getting outflanked by those Greek cities. And that's the casualties that I've suffered from the heavy, intense enemy archer fire there. So I say, new players watching this, if you retreat under archer fire, expect to get a lot of casualties, and only do it if you really have to. And as I say here, you can see I'm being outflanked by the Greek cities, so I've got to move back. Okay, meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see all 3 of my allies' armies now are trying to attack Brotherhood members Cal's Brutii army here. Cal's Germania allies moving his cavalry over there. He's got his archers shooting into our troops there, but looking at the odds that Cal's up against here with everything hitting him, and especially with those chariots there as well, lowering the morale of his troops, it wouldn't surprise me if possibly we got a mass rout here on the left flank of Cal's army there. Right, can you see the Germania generals brought in his Gothic cavalry, and I think I've just seen 2 berserkers activated there. Let's have a close look. Yeah, you can see the Gothic cavalry charging in there, and can you see the banners of the berserkers flashing red on and off? That's a sign that those berserkers have now been activated. So the Germania general is now attacking with those infamous berserker units and the Gothic cavalry. Plus I notice he's bringing in some more infantry units as well, and all the time the Germania chosen archers are shooting arrows into our allies' army as well there. So, but if you notice now, Cal's Brutii army, the enemy Brutii army, has now almost mass routed there through being hit by all 3 of our armies. So those my 3 allies attacking him on the left flank there have really made a difference there in routing that Brutii army. As you can see, my Carthage army is here. What I'm going to try and do with what's left of my Carthage army, if you look at the casualties that I've suffered in those units from the archer fire there, all I can hope to do is maybe try and hold the enemy a little bit until my allies can can turn maybe to face the enemy here on the right flank. If you notice, I've moved my fast-moving cavalry generals over there with a view to try and hit those Cretan archers. But if you notice, Mystique spotted my my cavalry and is now chasing with her heavy cavalry. I should be able to outrun them, but eventually I would like to try and get back in and hit those Cretan archers. So there's a general overview of exactly what's happening so far. As you can see, the Germania army is charging in there trying to support its Brutii ally there, but unfortunately their Brutii ally has now been routed. There's a close-up of the berserkers. If you notice, there's been a mass cavalry attack there by our Julii ally there, which would have killed a heck of a lot of the berserkers and the enemy cavalry there. But those berserkers will be lowering the morale of our allies' troops there, which is what one of the things that the berserkers do. But you can see the whole of the enemy's Brutii army on our left has now been routed. Okay, I can see the Greek cities moving in here, so what I'm going to do with what's left of my units, I'm going to move them forward and try and engage those Greek city units as much as I can. As I say, my job here, from what I can see, is just to try and hold up as many of the enemy pike units as I can, while my teammates try and finish off the enemy on the left.
By the gods, the enemy general was a fool. He sacrificed himself.
It wouldn't surprise me if Mystique with her Macedon faction there tried to outflank my pikemen there on that right flank, because you can see all my she can see all my allies over there on the left. Right, can you see I've got my fast-moving general units and doing what I wanted them to do now? I'm attacking the Cretan archers there with my fast-moving general armoured units there. As I said earlier, can you see that the Mystique bringing her Macedon pike units round to my right flank here with a view to try and flank my Carthage army. Meanwhile, what's left of my Carthage army, I'm still trying to fight and hold up the Greek cities units there. Okay, let's just take stock of exactly what's happening here as we pause the game. As you can see over on our left flank here, basically all of the enemy Brutii army has been routed. I think they're just trying to finish off the Germania army units that are left here on our left flank. So now it's we're facing the enemy Macedon pikeman Macedon army there, and we're also facing the Greek cities army here over on our right. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, as I say, I'm trying to hold up as many of the pike units as I can with my Carthage army, allowing my allies to be able to turn and face the threat from these enemy pike armies here. But as I say, if you notice, the Macedon pikemen are moving around to my right. They've already got Macedon cavalry round to my right as well, which could charge into the back of my engaged pikemen. So even though we've done really well on our left flank here, our right flank is still up in the air a bit, and possibly we could lose our right flank here maybe. As you can see here, Mystique has got cavalry attacking Leuendorf's archers there, and now the cavalry is moving into the back of my engaged pikemen there. What I'm going to have to do is try and turn some of my pikemen to face that cavalry. As you can see now, I'm being sandwiched between Greek city units and Macedon units here. So how long I'll be able to hold there, I don't know. You notice one of my Julii allies, I think it's Leuendorf, has spotted the danger and is bringing some infantry units over to help support my my flank there. But as you see, I've got Greek cities and Macedon units closing in on my battle depleted units. So how long I'll be able to hold it, I don't know. Can you see the mass of fire arrows being fired into our armies there by the Cretan archers over on our right flank here? Well done to Leuendorf for bringing over those couple of units there. Stopped Macedon pikemen getting right in behind me there. So well done to him. Nice bit of teamwork there. So as you can see, our victorious allies from the left flank are now moving over to the right here, probably with a view to try and flank the enemy team there. If you notice, I've got some of my fast-moving armoured generals charging into the back of those Macedon pikemen, and bang as that cavalry hits. But there's only a few of them left in each of those cavalry units, so I shouldn't think they did that much damage there.
General was a fool. He sacrificed himself.
You notice that our allies got some Julii cavalry in behind the enemy troops now. If he goes for the Macedon general, that would be a good hit. If he kills a general, he'll lower the morale of the rest of the Macedon troops. A nice hit there by our Julii cavalry there, and has now routed the Macedon general there, which will of course now lower the morale of all the Macedon troops on the battlefield, and their morale is not very good anyway, so that was a nice little hit there by our Julii ally there. As you can see, all our allies units are now closing in onto the Greek cities and Macedon, enemy Greek cities and Macedon units that are left. Right, if you notice that the Greek cities general has just routed, and if you notice that most of the Greek cities army has now totally mass routed there. So that was a nice little attack there by my allies. Let's say that battle depleted Carthage army of mine didn't do too bad there, holding on that right flank for as long as I could. As I say, I felt my job was there to try and hold up those pikemen while my allies finished off the enemy on the left, and then come back to help on the right there. So nice bit of teamwork there by the team. If you notice, Uther's Britannia army has been extremely effective there, working in conjunction with our Roman allies there.
And there is nothing the enemy can do but run.
As you can see, there's some of our allies' archer units have moved over there. They probably ran from being chased. Right, okay. First thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. Some nice tactical moves there, some nice aggressive attacking moves as well. So really well played to everybody there. I'd just like to say, if you look at the kills that the enemy team got, they did pretty good there, bearing in mind that they were attacking two Roman armies, Carthage and Britannia. So really well done to Killer B, Mystique, OTD, Pen Copsman and Cal. Unfortunately, Cal's army got a little bit exposed over on the left, so his kills were not that good there. If you notice that Conan's kills there, some nice kills there, 1723 kills there for Conan. Well done to him. Nice aggressive attacking by Conan there. So he did really well. As I say, if you look at Uther's Brits there, got some good kills, and well done to Liondorf as well there. So really well done to, as I said, to everybody in the game there. I just have a look at my, if you like, the battle statistics of my army there. If you notice, my one Sacred Band units managed to kill 111, but if you notice, my slingers were all killed without causing any casualties at all there. And if you notice, a lot of my Sacred Band haven't done very well either, really. Well, of course, that's because they were so damaged by the archers when I was retreating that a lot of them were killed before they could even kill in combat. But if you notice those general armoured bodyguard units of mine, two of them did extremely well. As you can see, I attacked those Cretan archers with those units there, and I think they did quite well there. So, as I say, it's a very old army. I don't usually bring cavalry in my pike armies these days, so the old army didn't do too bad. So, just like to say, I hope you enjoyed the battle, and if you did, please subscribe to our channels. It's always great to have new subscribers. Spartan Commander saying, look forward to seeing you soon. Hope you enjoyed the battle, and bye for now.